With the release of the new Touch7 photo plugins, we no longer need to use the Swatch palette. So the older system, we had to basically manually assign the LAB values for each press manufacturer into the plugin. This is all now changed. So inside the plugins, you'll see a press configuration setting, and every single press partner that we support is being coded in there. So each one has a unique algorithm for their specific ink on their machines, and all inks are different, so it's important that you use the correct one. Let me just demonstrate that now. If I go to SwissQ Print and generate an orange separation, we'll do that one here. Let's just put SwissQ on the end of that one so we know. Let's change our settings in Photoshop over to show channels in color so we can have a look at it. And now let's do another one. Let's go and do something completely different. Let's go with Ideal Alliance. Let's see the difference. So we'll click on the orange separation there. Okay, so if you look at the separation that was created for the SwissQ, that is the orange color for their ink. So it's more of a reddish orange, whereas on the Ideal Alliance settings, it's a traditional ECG orange. So it's very important that obviously you use the right ink set. So in the past, like I said, we had to go in there and basically assign it by going in and double clicking separations. So that has now all gone away. So you no longer need this swatch palette. However, we are going to leave it there just in case. For anybody that's using the older plugin. So if you do want to carry on using it for any reason, it is there. Okay, so the way it works now, let me just go into this one here. So basically, like I said, you go in here, you generate the orange separation, you click and do the orange SCR. Obviously remove anything from your separation that you don't want to be affected by that orange, and then you can balance your levels. So your traditional kind of way of working. So now we've separated an image. What I'm going to show you though is if you decided to basically have your own ink set. So if we have a machine that is no longer supported by Touch7, either if it's no longer in the system or if it's a machine that is currently not being supported by us. For example, we're currently going through the development stage with the Epson series of machines that has some different ECG inks. So we're waiting for the formulations on there, and once they're available, we will hard code that into this plugin. In the meantime, if you have your own LAB values, you can do it by going, start off basically with the Touch7 defaults, generate an orange separation, go in here, double click on the color box, and then you can type in your own percentages. So your own LAB value. So if it was, I don't know, let's see, 43 and 76, for example. So if that was your LAB value, click on OK. That then assigns the color over to that separation. And as we always teach people, you want to go in here and basically remove color that you don't want to be affected. So in this particular image that I've chosen here, there's a very orangish cast in the skin tones. So if you don't want to affect the skin tones, and bear in mind when you're using ECG colors, sometimes if it's in the skin tones, it can look a little bit false. So we do recommend using the dodge tool. Set it to highlights, exposure about 20%, and then you can just go over the skin tone areas here and any pixels that you want to remove from the ECG separation. And the great thing about this is that you then only print in the ink where you want it. So unlike a traditional profile workflow that separates the entire image into orange, green, violet, for example, or just into an orange separation, then you're literally basically at the mercy of that profile, and it's going to put ink in areas where you might not need it. What that means is that you're paying for that extra ink. So all that extra ink that you're using is wastage, and all that extra ink is going to cost you money. So using the Touch7 system not only is quick and efficient, we do try and teach you tips and tricks like this one here on how to remove things from your image quite quickly. And because we're setting this to highlights, if you notice, I don't have to be super accurate with my image separation because it's only targeting those highlight pixels, not the midtones or the shadows. So quite quickly I can go in there and tease out any areas of my image that I want. So that has now created my orange separation. From there we would then go into do the SCR. So if you're working with obviously with a different press setting, you would be in there. I'm using the defaults. I'm just going to do the SCR option. The SCR converts the image into CMYK, so it's using your color settings that you've got set up in your Photoshop. So if you're set up for a specific profile workflow, it will be using that information to separate the file into CMYK. It will generate 3 different options. And as you'll see here, we've got different algorithms. It's not just a case of removing color at a certain percentage, like 80% removed, 60% removed, 40% removed. It's actually a completely different mathematical model based on the image. And you'll find that some images work better with SCR option 3. Some, in this case, it doesn't. It really knocks out that orange too much. Some images work better with SCR option 1. Every image is different, so that's why we've given 3 different mathematical models so you can see the best effect for each particular image. So in this case, I'm probably going to go with SCR option number 2. On my separation here, we always do recommend that you basically push your levels up and set your shadow and highlight point. So Command L on a Mac, Control L on a PC, and you'll see this bit here is known as clipping. So basically there's nothing there in that top shadow point. So if you move the shadow slider to the top here, it sets the deepest, most saturated point of that image to 100%, and the midtones and the quarter tones are then scaled in proportion. So what that's doing is basically setting the shadow and highlight point. So the most orangish part of the image is 100% orange, and everything else is in scale. So you can also do something like a boost. So we have a new boost button. What that does is it overlays 25% of the image on top of each other, so it boosts up 25% at a time across the entire image. I'm going to undo my boost because I don't want to use them in this case. Just leave it like that. You could also do auto levels, Command L, I think Command Shift L on a Mac, Control Shift L, I think it is on a PC. So basically what we're doing there is putting the most orangish part into the image. So if we turn off the orange separation, you can see that color has been removed from the image. We don't completely remove all color because otherwise it'd be flat and it would look awful. You'd lose your tonality. So there we have a nice photorealistic image separated in a couple of seconds using the Touch7 system. So just to recap, you no longer need to use this swatch palette, but we are going to leave it there if you need it for any reason, especially if you want to basically access the Touch7 default colors in here, or if you're using the older plugin if you've not upgraded yet. So the upgrade is free. Anybody that has a subscription to Touch7, upgrades and support is always free. We don't charge you any extra for it. So this new updated feature, you will need to contact us at support@touch7.co to be able to have your existing license removed. We do not have deregistration systems put into the plugins because we were finding that people were sharing a plugin between different companies. So we've had to put some restrictions in place. So do contact us and we will unlock your other license and it'll allow you to switch over to the new installation. And just to recap, this is the new Adobe UXP plugin, so you'll find it in the plugins menu and you'll be there either the Touch7 Photo ECG or the Neon. Okay, so that's the quick update. If you want to, you could also, by the way, put in your own colors in here. So if you wanted to, you could literally go and make a new group. So call it Richard's ECG colors. And inside there, you could then create a new set of colors. Let's just do a random color from that. And then we can do a new swatch, and we could call it my orange. And then we could do another one. We could have maybe a green. Let's not make it so bright because there are no greens that bright. And we could do another one called my green, etc. So you could build your own palette in there as well to support. So then that way you could then just go in, double click on the color box and then put the picker over there and it will automatically assign it to the colors in your color setting. And obviously if you wanted to do it in green and make it look awful, you could do so. So there we have the way of working with the spot color on its own. Let's get rid of those. Don't want my libraries. So that's the way the swatch palette works if you want to continue using it. And like I said, it will eventually be phased out or at least be removed with all the partners, and we'll probably just keep it as a default with the Touch7 system there. Okay, if you have any questions or concerns, please do contact us at support@touch7.co.